Lana, you think we're good to go?
Yeah, the waiting room has seemed to slow down a bit. So I think we're probably good.
Okay. Well, welcome to our annual meeting. I am Tracy McDermott, the current board chair. Much like 2020, this last year continued to present challenges as we all continue to navigate the COVID pandemic, dismal climate reports, racial inequity, and the homeless crisis. Our organization continues to operate and provide services to this community despite the challenges we have faced. What may be overwhelming odds regarding so many enormous issues, this organization continues to invest human capital in order to be part of the solution. So many members of this community, along with our board and executive director, provide a shining example of what is still possible. I am hopeful. Each year, this organization continues to serve our neighbors in need through our food pantry. We continue to lead on our neighborhood sustainability efforts and show that healing the planet must start right in our own backyards. We continue to produce an award-winning paper from the best team in journalism. Our world problems will be solved at neighborhood levels and neighborhoods just like ours. It is usually a small group of concerned individuals who drive change. The Greater Park Hill community is one community I know who will continue a long and proud tradition of creating a better planet for all of us. Bear with me, I have a long list of thank yous tonight. We've had so many people who stepped up this last year. Please forgive me if I've left anyone out. Thank you to Pastor Nathan Adams and the team at Park Hill United Methodist for walking their talk when they decided to be part of helping solve the homeless crisis. In addition, thank you to Cole Chandler and the crew at Colorado Village Collaborative for their critical work on this issue. Ken Burdett for working with the neighbors near the camp. You had a lot on your plate and handled all of it with grace and compassion. Amy Harris and her husband Alex for getting our first GPHC meal served at the camp. Bridget Walsh for setting up a welcoming committee who provided many resources to our newly arriving residents. Your welcome packets were amazing. The numerous individuals who reached out and asked how they could help and did. Jackie Shumway and John Bowman, who have started Park Hill the Beautiful campaign to help keep our streets clean. Amy Harris for leading an effort to shovel sidewalks. The following individuals who are heading up the special committees for diversity, parks, and historic designation. Shanta, Maria, and Shane, thank you for your work. Bob Homiak, Shane Sutherland, and Stephanie Sicato for their work on revising our bylaws, and to Kara Lawrence, who is giving her talents to our organization to help with oversight and overview. I want to thank our home tour and garden chairs. I'm going to name them all, and it's a lot, but it's a big job they take on. Jessica Howard, Mary Salsich, Courtney Rabb, Emily Morgan, Jen Mathis, Liz Rutledge, and Veronica Denable, Carla Finch, Patty Mead, Mickey Amick, Kate Lannis, Sarah Scott, and Paul Marinelli. The work you do, it allows us to continue the work we do that goes out to our communities. I am very grateful for what you have done. Our newspaper team, Melissa, Tommy, and Quincy, who get this paper to your door every single month. Please reach out to them and thank them for the amazing work they do, but also make sure you thank your block worker. Without them, we can't continue to deliver the amazing paper to you for free. Kara DeGette, you continue to push the envelope on content and quality. Year after year, you produce an award-winning paper. I'm excited about the next chapter for us and so excited to be working with you going forward to make sure that the news and critical stories get investigated and reported. We will grow this work together and continue to help you expand your amazing journalistic chops. You are a gem and a great friend. To all of our food pantry volunteers, your work literally saves lives. You provide a bridge for those who really just need a little extra help. You are a quiet and dedicated group of people, and I am grateful for all you do. The GPHC board, Shane, Heather, Bernadette, Amy, Ryan, Kevin, Ken, John, Nam, Doug, Colette, Maria, Shanta, Louis, Lisa, Geneva, Melissa, Rick, Jackie, Jim, and Sandy. Your work and spirit of volunteerism really is an example to be highlighted. Many dedicated hours from each of you. It is countless and selfless. Thank you. The Executive Committee, Heather, Shane, and Bernadette. On top of all the work you do as board members and the additional time you put in on the Executive Committee is a lot to ask. You keep our finances in order, our meeting minutes, and help guide the ship. You do terrific work. What would we do without you? Personally, I want to say thanks to my wife. You put up with a lot and are always a huge supporter of this work we do together. Lastly, we'd be lost without Lana and Ruth. Your dedication to your work in this neighborhood is unparalleled. You have done the most amazing job at keeping all of our important programs running. Lana, I've learned so much from you. Your organizational skills, thoughtful approach, and love of this neighborhood is something we can all aspire to. I will miss our catch-up calls and the work we do together. However, I will be nearby and ready to take your call any day. You've been such a wonderful pleasure to work with. I've said this before, but you have made me think about things differently and keep me excited about what we can all still do. I really value our relationship and friendship. You are simply a rock star. I have really loved serving this community and the work we do. It's been an honor to chair this outstanding and historic organization, and I feel blessed. With that said, I'd like to introduce you all to your new chair, Shane Sutherland. I could not be more excited about passing the reins off to this amazing, kind, and thoughtful person. I have no doubts about his ability to lead this organization, share his wonderful insight, and his ability to continue to help us grow what we do. Shane, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Tracy. And I'm not sure I hope to live up to your expectations, Tracy. I have big shoes to fill, really big shoes. It's going to be tough. I basically just would like to thank everyone that Tracy thanked, because this is a team effort. Without everyone working, we go nowhere. So we need to keep a team. I do want to mention one thing going forward that I'd like to work on this next year. I would really like us to reach out more and have more members in Northeast Park Hill and get better coverage of the block paper. And, if we have to go and walk through the blocks ourselves, I think maybe that's something we should do. Our membership in the Northeast Park Hill needs to pick up. We need to be all one greater Park Hill, and that includes Northeast, North, and South Park Hill. Outside of that, I am going to be calling on Tracy more than she probably thinks this first year. I'm going to need a lot of support from Lana too. But I'm looking forward to the challenge. And I hope we have a great year. I don't really have anything more else to say than that, except for I think everyone should really recognize what a job Tracy has done this year, especially with the sanction camp over at Park Hill Methodist. It was an outstanding job there that took a lot of time. I was on the peripheral of it, and it took time for me. I can't imagine how much time she and Ken put in on that. That was an amazing work there. So I just want to thank Tracy for all her work. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Shane. Lana, I think we're turning over to you to update this community on the amazing work that's happened this last year. Thank you.
That is a tough act to follow, you guys. Thank you, Tracy, for everything. You've been incredible in the handful of years that I've been a part of this organization. And Shane, I really look forward to working together. All right, here we go. Oh, sorry, I missed your introduction slide, Tracy. There we go. Tracy McDermott, outgoing board chair. Okay, my name's Lana Cordes. I'm the executive director of Greater Park Hill. And I'm going to be presenting you with a snapshot of the last 12 months in our annual update. Our complete annual report will be made available after the close of our fiscal year, which does follow a calendar year, but this should give you an idea of what we've been up to over the last roughly 12 months. Beginning with, excuse me, community advocacy and projects. I'd just like to point out a number of community groups and causes that our board members or staff have been involved with this year. You'll recognize a lot of these from Tracy's introduction, but our board and our staff engages with Northeast Park Hill Coalition, INC, the Inter-Neighborhood Cooperation, the Park Hill Golf Course Steering Committee, CP FAN, City Park Alliance, the Denver Streets Partnership, the East Colfax Community Collective, and the 303 Artway and Urban Land Conservancy. Not a comprehensive list, but just giving you an idea. And in the last 12 months, we've been involved in a lot of issues and projects and things in the neighborhood, including the temporary safe outdoor space at Park Hill United Methodist, the future of the Park Hill Golf Course, the future of the Johnson and Wales campus, ongoing development on Fairfax Street, a good neighbor agreement with Spinelli's, the Robinson House at 3435 Albion, and the rezoning and landmarking of that home, the Park Hill the Beautiful campaign, and the Northeast Park Hill Snow Patrol. Again, not a comprehensive or exhaustive list, but just gives you an idea of what we've been working on the last year. The Greater Park Hill News continues to excel, earning 11 awards in 2021 for excellence in journalism for stories and photos that were published in 2020. 8 of those awards were first place, you guys. Our small but mighty team of contractors and contributors compete against daily and weekly papers that have full-time staff and resources, so we're especially proud of these tremendous accomplishments. You can see a list here of the awards earned given by 2 different associations. And the newspaper is bundled and delivered entirely by volunteers, as many of you know. So among that group, there's nearly 1,600 hours of volunteerism just surrounding Greater Park Hill News. Our food programs continue to fill a need in the community, though the number of people requiring assistance has thankfully been less this year than what we saw in 2020, which was a huge uptick when the pandemic started. That has leveled out a bit this year. So currently, sort of year to date in the emergency food pantry, we've served 266 unique individuals, and that's over 12,000 meals provided from our pantry to date. Our weekend food program continues to serve around 30 students through the school year, and that's 5 meals and 2 snacks every week for them to take home for the weekend. Our free farm stand was bananas this year. We received a ton of food and we distributed a ton of food, more than we have in the past. It's been really awesome. And 5,600 pounds of food so far, we still have the rest of October to go, has come in and gone out through this program to over 370 folks in the area. Our Thanksgiving giveaway last year served over 1,300 meals to 380 households. And you may or may not know, we have a garden behind our building, and Montview Presbyterian Church, the youth program there, adopted that garden last year, and they continue to do amazing work there this year. So they use it to educate their youth on food justice and how to grow and how to be part of the community, and then we reap the benefits of what they sow. So it's a really great partnership that we have there. And across our food programs, over 1,100 hours have been dedicated by our team of volunteers, and they're amazing. Our events were mostly back this year, back in action. Last year we had a lot of virtual events, and we were inching towards normal this year. So the Park Hill yard sale was back. We had 74 houses participate. We did our 6th annual Garden in a Box giveaway, where we distributed roughly 250 seedlings to 37 participants. The garden walk was a huge smash success this year in June, and 8 gardens drew about 850 attendees. Everybody was really itching to get out and get to events in June, and it was lovely. The 4th of July parade happened this year. It was great. We had 700 parade participants and somewhere in the neighborhood of 6,000 to 7,000 attendees all along the route. It was amazing. And we just wrapped up the 43rd annual home tour and street fair. There were 6 tour homes that were on a virtual tour this year for safety and health reasons. But we also had 40 vendors at the street fair. We had live music, food trucks, beer and wine, kids activities, and notably, the neighborhood recycled just over 2,300 pounds of electronics at our free recycling drive. And that's a partnership with PCs for People, who are located here in the neighborhood. So our events folks, between our committees and our day of events volunteers, nearly 1,300 hours of volunteering. Our membership continues to grow. We have over 550 renewals and registrations year to date. We saw a huge uptick last year, which was great, but we're up even 10% over where we were this time last year for this year. So we're continuing to see our membership grow, which is really exciting. We've also had over 1,500 donor transactions this year, which is up about 7% from this time last year. About 35% of those donations are in kind, mostly food for the pantry, but 65% of those donations are financial contributions that keep our organization running. Thank you to all of our donors. All right, last but not least, we are a volunteer and donor-based organization. And without our volunteers, we just simply wouldn't have the resources to do what we do. So 163 individuals contributed over 5,200 hours to GPHC in the last year. And those are just the hours that we know about. And the Coalition of Nonprofits publishes an estimated national value of each volunteer hour annually. This year, that figure is $28.54. So at 5,262 hours, that puts our volunteerism valued at just over $150,000, which is an incredible value for our organization. So thank you all. There's a handful of volunteers who gift a lot of their time. So I'd like to recognize them by name. I think you'll recognize a lot of the same names that Tracy mentioned at the beginning, but they are certainly worth repeating. So for our volunteers who have contributed between 25 and 49 hours this year, we have Mickey Amick, John Bowman, Allison Bressler, Ken Burdett, Colette Carey, Christine Davidson, Greg Davis, Jamie Fields, James Groves, Ryan Hunter, Bernadette Kelly, Paula Marinelli, Rick Medrick, Emily Morgan, Courtney Robb, Desmarie Roberts, Doug Schuler, Sarah Scott, Heather Shockey, Bridget Walsh, and Kevin Wiegand. Thank you guys so much for your contribution. Our next category is those volunteers that have dedicated between 50 and 99 hours this year. We have Janie Alpert, Kate Blanis, Sue Bruner, Carla Finch, Maria Flora, Shanta Harrison, Nam Henderson, Noni Horwitz, Jessica Howard, Erica Hutira, Patty Mead, Sandy Robnett, Mary Salsich, and Jackie Shumway. Thank you guys so much. Our next category is our 100 to 199 hours of volunteerism this year. And we have Justin Brasler, Mike Buffton, Melissa Davis, Jean Ercolani, Claudia Fields, Amy Harris, Deborah Lavelle, Louis Plachowski, Heather Schulman, Shane Sutherland, Nikki Wiederanders, and Lisa Zoller. Amazing, you guys. Thank you so much. Our final category is our 200 plus category. We have just 2 names. So I'll say a little bit about each of them. Deb Rosenbaum is one of our food pantry volunteers. And many of you know that I was on maternity leave earlier this year. And although Deb was already an outstanding volunteer who spent a lot of time at the office helping us with various things, she stepped up in a huge way while I was away from the office, and just took on basically anything that I needed her to do. So I'm incredibly appreciative of all the time and energy and effort that she has put into helping to maintain the food programs, but also keeping an eye on the building and helping just with anything that we needed. And then, of course, our fearless leader, Tracy McDermott, who God only knows how many hours she actually puts in, but it's definitely more than 200. And I can't say enough about the work that you've done, again, over the years, this year, always. I know you'll continue to put the work in. We'll continue talking. We'll continue doing the work together. So thank you for everything.
Thank you. Love hearing that. Thanks, Lana.
Yeah, of course. The 22 members of our board collectively have given nearly 1,400 hours this year. So a big thank you to all 22 of you. You're all volunteers, and you just do this because you love the neighborhood, you love your community, you want to see the best for all of us. So very much appreciate you. With that, I'll go ahead and turn things back over to Tracy for our next portion of the meeting. And Tracy, do you want to run through some election stuff first?
Yeah, let's do that. I think let's do the election. So everybody, how this works is that the election this year is for the even number districts. So that's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Half of our at-large seats are up for election. And we will ask each candidate to come on and give just a brief introduction about themselves. And you've got 2 minutes. So District 2, I'm going to ask John Messner if he is here.
Hey, Trace.
Yep.
Give me 1 second. Sorry, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to let me get my slides reoriented here.
And then maybe Lana, before we get started, just update everybody how they vote, because I think
Exactly.
they'll get it. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. I needed to switch a couple of things. And so let me just get back to where I need to be. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to drop the ballot link into the chat box, so you'll have access for that. It'll also be at the top of the next slide. And additionally, if you are at this meeting and registered, you will receive an email at the conclusion of this meeting that will have the link in it. So multiple ways you can get that link to the ballot. You'll have 24 hours to complete it. So just make sure you do so by the end of the day tomorrow, by tomorrow evening. It's a very simple form. Please only complete the ballot once. You can complete it more than once, but if you do, we're only going to count it the first time that you did it. So if you've submitted it, we've got it. Okay. You should get a little pop-up that says that your ballot has been submitted for verification and tallying. All of the ballots that we receive are going to be cross-checked against both the Zoom attendance list, because you need to be present at the meeting in order to vote, and also our membership list. So you need to have a current registered household membership or business membership with us in order to vote in the election. So this is important. Bright flashing lights. If you're attending right now under someone else's Zoom account, or you're like sharing a screen with someone, if you're not in this meeting under your own name, please do us all a favor, do yourself a favor, drop your name into the chat box. That's all you have to do, is just type your name into the chat box. That way, when we go back to do verifications, if we don't see your name in the registration or the attendance list, I can go back and skim the chat box, and then we'll know you were here. So again, if you're attending right now and you're sharing a screen with someone, you're logged in under someone else's account, and we otherwise can't verify that you're here, please just drop your name into the chat. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to look at the chat right now and see if anybody has any questions about the process. Again, well, I'll drop the link into the chat for the ballots here in a second, and they'll be emailed out after the meeting. Thanks.
And Lana, thank you for doing that. And before we jump into District 2 candidates, every year when I write my thank you list to everything that's gone on, I rack my brain and there's somebody I forget that's critical. And Justin, I see you on this call and you are critical because you and your family put on the most amazing and the best 4th of July parade in this city. I am sorry for the oversight. As you know, Justin is a past award Babs winner for his work on that parade. So Justin, thank you. So what we will do, District 2, our candidates, John, I see you're here. If you want to unmute yourself and tell the community about yourself, that would be great.
Thanks, Tracy. I'm happy to. Good evening, everyone. My name is John Messner. I live at 23rd and Dexter. I grew up in Denver, but moved away for almost 30 years, lived in Gunnison, Colorado. Moved back about 1.5 years ago when I was appointed by Governor Polis to serve as a commissioner on the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission. When I was in Gunnison, I was elected as a county commissioner and had the opportunity to serve on a number of different boards and commissions. Some of those boards and commissions include being chair of the Regional Transportation Authority, being on the board of the Regional Affordable Housing Authority, founded and chaired a Regional Recreation Infrastructure Committee, was on the Planning and Zoning Commission for a number of years, both at the county level as well as the city level, was on a Sustainability Council, and like I said, I'm currently a commissioner on the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission. It's great to be back in Denver. It's great to be in Park Hill. I do appreciate how important neighborhood groups and organizations are in advocating for the issues that are important to the members of the community, as well as helping create the vibrancy that makes our neighborhoods as special as they are. I do have an in-depth knowledge of how local and state government works. I know how to turn the right switches to make things happen, and would be honored to have the opportunity to serve on this board and to serve the neighborhood of Park Hill. So thank you for your time this evening, and yeah, thanks.
John, thank you very much. Also running for District 2, Brenda Morrison, and you'll be allowed to vote for one person in each district. Brenda, you've got the floor.
Thanks, Tracy. Hello, everyone, and thanks for everyone being here tonight and taking time out of your evening to attend this meeting. I'm a Coloradoan too. I've lived here in Park Hill, though, almost 25 years. Time goes by fast. And I'm running because a couple years ago, 2 years ago, I was dismayed, a little disappointed with some policy decisions being made by elected officials. And I met with those elected officials about those policy decisions. And I wrote an op-ed piece for the Greater Park Hill News, where I described my disappointment. But while doing that exercise, I realized that I too had abdicated my responsibility, and that for these years, for these 23 years, I will say, I had sat on the sidelines and let other people in this community do the heavy lifting. And, you know, I really told myself, had a hard conversation that I better put up or shut up. And so for the last 2 years, I've been educating myself. I've been attending Greater Park Hill meetings. I've been talking to the leadership, learning about the issues that are challenging our community. I too come with a background in state and local policy, so I do love it. But I just was in awe of the time and dedication of the volunteers that are running this organization. And COVID demonstrated to me and many others the importance of our physical space and also our communal space, and that it is essential that our sidewalks be safe and walkable, whether you're 2 or 92, that our arterial routes, especially going east-west with the increased population that Denver is experiencing, don't turn into highways, and that they are safe for bikers, walkers, and of course people who drive as well. That our community has access to open space and adequate parks, all of our community, South Park Hill, North Park Hill, and Northeast Park Hill. But the other thing that struck me was during this COVID is the need for this community, which Lana put up that slide with the 6,000 or 7,000 people, which were incredible at the 4th of July, which just shows the need and the want that people have for these kind of activities. That made me think that maybe there's even possibly, Lana might kill me, but there might be even a need for more of this kind of activity. And I'd be very interested, she's smiling, to hear what people have in mind. She might not smile if that continues. But civic responsibility, I take it seriously. I believe it's a responsibility and a privilege, but it would be an honor to represent District 2 on the Greater Park Hill Board. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Brenda, thank you very much. All right. Is there anybody here who would like to declare candidacy in District 2 who lives in District 2? Unmute yourself. Otherwise, we're going to move on to District 4, which is Kevin Wiegand. Kevin, are you here?
Sorry, I had to unmute. I am here. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. Hi, my name is Kevin Wiegand. I've lived in Colorado for about 25 years. I've lived in Park Hill for the last going on 7 years. I've been a rep for District 4, I believe now for a little over 4 years. I think if you go to the meetings, I think most people know who I am. I'm one of the more loud and outspoken board members. I am an architect. I have done construction development my whole life. One of my focuses on why I'm on the board sounds familiar to a lot of us, is that I took it upon myself that I needed to stand up for the community. And I felt like developers were getting their say, and that's my focus on being on the board, is to try to make sure that Park Hill grows in a way that works best for its residents and not outside investors. And in particular, I'd like Park Hill to grow in a way that shows respect to people who have lived here for all their lives, and sometimes are the 3rd or 4th generation of families who have lived here, who I feel like the way we are growing is not showing respect to those neighbors of ours. And that's who I am.
Kevin, thank you. Is there anybody else who lives in District 4 who would like to declare? All right, I will move on to District 6. Phoebe Lassiter, I believe you're here. If you'd like to unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about you, that would be great.
Hi, I usually will have my camera on, but I have kids running in the background. So I'm interested in running for District 6 because I lived in Park Hill my whole life. I grew up here and I've seen how much it has changed over time. And I've been on the board of directors for an organization called Athletics and Beyond. And we work with inner city kids. And one thing that is so important to me, I grew up during the summer of violence, and I've always wanted to have a type of community where we can have kids take a different route. And sometimes they're just bored, but I would like we would just create different things for the kids to do, like take them to the park and have barbecues, just something positive. And then I've been working in higher ed for over 20 years. So I do a lot of recruiting because I feel like we could change the trajectory through higher ed, through education. And that's been my passion. And I want to run because this is my home for 40 years. And I'm a DPS student and I went to college here. And so it would be my pleasure to work with you all.
Phoebe, thank you. Is there anybody else on this call who would like to declare running for District 6? If not, I will move on to District 8 and Nam Henderson. You have the floor, Nam.
Thanks, Tracy. My name's Nam Henderson. My wife and I and our now son have been living in District 8 for about 5 years. I think that just like Kevin, I'm going on about, I think this is the end of my second term, if I'm not mistaken. So about 4 years of being on the board. I think that in terms of what have I been doing with my time? I think my particular kind of areas of focus have been volunteering with the food bank, particularly around the sort of volunteering with the food bank. I'm also a block worker and have been delivering that for as long as I've lived in the district. And in Park Hill, those two things are the same. And then have spent a lot of time over the years engaging with various groups, whether it be originally Walk Denver, now Denver Streets Partnership, the 303 Artway efforts that were underway a couple years ago and have picked back up, but I have not made it to any of those more recent meetings in the last month or two, but hoping to get re-engaged with that. But basically focusing on issues of sort of mobility, pedestrian biking, kinds of issues and advocacy. And also, I think Shane mentioned this, certainly one of my goals, and again, between the pandemic and a new child, this has certainly fallen off a little bit, but hoping to focus a little more energy always on engaging with those surrounding neighborhood groups, whether it be Northeast Park Hill Coalition, East Colfax Community Collective, whichever Central Park neighbors, all those different groups. But, I think certainly, leveraging our shared work to improve our neighborhood and the city at large, I think is always worth the time and effort. So that's, I'd be honored to continue to serve. That's what I'm about.
Nam, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to declare for District 8? Okay, we're going to move on to District 10 with Colette. Colette, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Much like Nam and Kevin, I am at the end of my second term now. So 4 years on the Greater Park Hill Board representing District 10. And over probably the last term, the last 2 years, issues in my district have really stepped up a bit. So we started with the East Area Plan, which directly affected District 10. And through that initiative, I was really able to engage with my neighbors a lot more than I probably did during the first term that I had here. So I have since then built a pretty robust list via email and phone of my immediate neighbors in District 10, and we're branching out farther all the time, attending block parties and neighborhood events, and really just making sure that people in District 10 know who I am, that know I will keep them abreast of issues that are coming up, and that I want to know what their voice is on these issues, because we do vote on things that are very important. And I want to make sure that I'm representing what the voice of District 10 is and not what the voice of Colette Carey is, because sometimes that's not going to be the same thing. And then coming up, well, just certainly recently I helped with the neighborhoods kind of tend to take a look at, we got a new marijuana dispensary in the neighborhood that was not a very popular choice with a lot of the neighbors, but helped sort of negotiate that through the process a little bit. And again, that always helped to expand my reach as the representative in the neighborhood. We're also looking at the upcoming Colfax bus rapid transit route that is going to directly affect District 10 with traffic concerns and obviously moving people more efficiently through the city. So I continue to sit on that committee. And lastly, the transition or transformation of the Johnson and Wales campus that is also very important to District 10 and a lot of other districts around it, but, being kind of a conduit for the neighborhood on what's going on with that through Urban Land Conservancy, through DHA, DSA, and St. Elizabeth. So active, busy times in District 10, and I'm just anxious to continue representing it. And I would ask for your vote.
Thank you, Colette. Anyone else who would like to declare for District 10? We have 3 at-large seats. First person, only person so far scheduled tonight, Louis Plachowski. You have the floor.
Okay, I've unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. This morning I sat down and I made a list of things that I thought I should mention that I do. And at the bottom of the list was the item that I reflected on was the most important of all of them. So forget all the other things on the list and let me just talk about the most important. Through my social ways of doing things and my business, I speak with a lot of people every day. And we have robust conversations about what goes on in Denver and what goes on in Park Hill. And I listen to a lot, we debate a lot of it. And ultimately, I get a flavor as to what it is that most of the people are feeling. So when any of those issues come up where I have a way to vote on them, representing a lot of people, because I'm at large, I'm not in any one district, I'm all of Park Hill in a manner of speaking. Those conversations and those consensus are what influence my vote when it comes up to a vote on any of those issues. We're faced with a lot of critical things these days. They're in the paper all the time and on the news and on the radio and debated, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to make sure that the people that I speak to and tell me how they feel are represented in those votes. And that's the most important thing that I do. And I plan to continue to do that if you do indeed select me for another round, which I think is going to be my 4th term. So that would be about 8 years. And it's a long time, but time goes fast when you're having fun. Thank you very much. And I look forward to continuing to work with you.
Louis, thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to declare for at-large?
Are there 3 seats open?
That is correct.
Well, my name is Rich McClintock, and I'm going to put my hat in the ring. I've been a volunteer with the Thanksgiving fundraising drive and food drive for the last 5 years. I've also been quite involved in some of the planning and transportation issues, and I'm particularly interested in the future of the Colfax corridor. We've done the East Area Plan, but now there's the bus rapid transit plan coming. I think that's critical. And with the transformation of Johnson and Wales, we just have a tremendous opportunity along that corridor. So Rich McClintock, I live at 16th and Grape, and I am honored to be considered for an at-large representative, if you'll consider me.
Rich, thank you. Are there other candidates? Okay, that will close the ballot. Those ballots will be sent to members in good standing, and that will end that. We are going to move on to our Babs Award presentation. It's presented this year by Leanne Anderson, who was our Babs Award winner last year. She was a previous board member. She was instrumental in helping
distracted me.
Hey, Leanne, realigning this organization and setting us on a good path. Leanne, you have the floor.
Thank you, Tracy. It is my pleasure to present this year's Babs Award. The award honors the legacy of former Park Hill United Methodist pastor and founding member of the Park Hill Action Committee, Dr. J. Carlton Babs. Dr. Babs was a minister at Park Hill United Methodist Church from 1955 until his death in 1978. He helped organize the Park Hill Action Committee and was a key supporter of integration in Park Hill. On the same Sunday in May of 1956, all of the ministers in the community preach sermons on the need to eliminate all the barriers to church membership and housing on the basis of race, sex, or national origin. The Park Hill Action Committee, organized and sponsored by these churches, subsequently became the Greater Park Hill Community, Inc., or GPHC. Historically, GPHC's impact on integration, zoning, schools, justice, and legislation for the community has been widely recognized. At the time of Dr. Babb's death, the clergy of Park Hill met and decided that a community service award in his memory would be a fitting tribute to one of the neighborhood's outstanding leaders. The Babb's Award has been awarded to individuals in our community who continue to work for the betterment of not just all of us, but more importantly, to those who are at most risk of losing their ability to simply survive. This year's honoree exemplifies the spirit of Dr. Babb's and our neighborhood's long history of fighting for social justice. This person led on a controversial issue and stood with their back straight in their truth and conviction. They faced the storm, unwavered, and continued to carry on without hesitation to simply be part of a solution and offer a hand up. They have been a quiet and steadfast leader. In 1911, Park Hill United Methodist Church started out as a tent tabernacle at the corner of 23rd and Glencoe, and by 1921, William N. Bowman designated the church or designed the church. 100 years later, we will honor a current leader, Pastor Nathan Adams, with the honor of being named this year's Babb's Award recipient. Working in concert with your congregation, you put your faith into action when you opened your parking lot and your hearts to the homeless. You have provided a safe place for those experiencing homeless to have a good night's rest and meals to eat while they look and work to regain a permanent residence. You and the congregation have stood strong against racism, advocating on behalf of all persons. The ringing of the church bells every Monday in honor of George Floyd serves to remind us that we all need to do our part to stand up against injustice wherever it may occur. As a marathon runner, you understand what it takes to complete the distance, no matter how many obstacles appear throughout training and on race day. In addition to your service to your congregation and community, you have served as a mentor for big brothers and sisters, a track coach, and are a classically trained trombonist, delighting others with your music. Your ability to build bridges and your unassuming traits bring others along on a journey for a better world. You are one of many in your church who are working to solve growing and troubling crises. May our partnership continue to grow under your leadership. While high schools and colleges celebrate fall homecomings, this annual award can celebrate a homecoming of its own with Pastor Adams, as well as the well-deserved recipient of the J. Carlton Babb's Award. On behalf of Greater Park Hill, congratulations and thank you for all of your hard work this year.
Pastor Adams, you have the floor, and congratulations, well deserved.
Thank you all. I will try not to tear up. It's good to be with you all tonight. I started to wonder why Tracy was inviting me persistently to be here with you all tonight, but I'm glad that I am. It's been several years since I've been with you all, since I first came, I think, to a meeting back in 2017. But thank you for the award. Obviously, I'm just one of the folks in the life of our church and Temple Micah, and really all of you in the greater community that have made the Safe Outdoor Space a reality, and the success so far that it has been to be able to serve some of our unhoused neighbors here in the community in Denver. It is an honor to receive the award to follow in the steps of Dr. Babs, who I hear just amazing things about in the way that he impacted not only my church, but obviously our neighborhood and the greater community. Thank you for recognizing the hard work that my park heroes, is what I call them, do and have done to try to make our Park Hill neighborhood a better place for everybody to live and to work and to play and to call home, whatever that might be.
Pastor Adams, thank you. And thank you.
That are doing that. When you see me out running, I live just on the other side of Colfax. I'm not far at all from you all, where my home is, if you will. But I'm running throughout Park Hill and Central Park and Colfax and all types of areas. All the this is not we're not at mile 26 yet of the marathon and our partnership and our work together. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Cheers.
I'm not done.
Go ahead. You know, Pastor Adams, we're having trouble with the connection.
I'll wrap up. I was just inviting folks, that I was saying, using that metaphor that was shared earlier, that, to continue partnership to improve our neighborhood and our community together. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And congratulations. Lana, do you have any closing notes for tonight?
No, other than to just reiterate a couple of housekeeping items. One being, again, if you are attending this meeting on someone else's account, or you're sharing a screen, a device with someone, then we don't know that you were here. So 7 or 8 of you dropped names in the chat already. And whether you sent that to everyone or just to me, I did receive that. Thank you. If you still need to drop your name into the chat box, please do so at this time. And again, I dropped the link to the ballot is in the chat box, and I will also email it to each of you who are attending this meeting after the conclusion of the meeting. Please fill it out within 24 hours so we can so we know who our board will be going forward. Thank you.
And thank you to everyone. This concludes our meeting. And as always, I'm grateful for you showing up for your community. It's valued, it's appreciated. Just so grateful to have all of you, some and most of you, all of you, call my friends and some close friends. Thank you. And good night. Take care. And we'll be getting back with all of you.